Welcome back to Channel 10's live telecast of the Cadbury Australian Guineas, and the big race is only a couple of minutes away. We'll see if Starley Century can do what Kings High did last year, and that's win the Derby in the spring and the Guineas, which is the feature race now in the autumn. So it's going to be a marvellous race. Only 11 contestants, 1 female against the 10 males. It'll be a fabulous race. Peter Donegan and Graham Kelly are in the mounting yard. They are going to check through the runners, and shortly the horses will be coming out into the mounting yard. But Peter and Graham, as I said before, there was drama, sensations, call it what you will, earlier on. Colin Hayes has trained the first 3 winners. Full of Last, of course, won the previous race, but the biggest sensation was in race 3 because our superstar Vo Rogue got beaten. He didn't run second, he ran third.
Dan, down here in the mounting yard, the excitement is starting to build. As you said, there has been controversy early in the day. And Graham Kelly is with me. Graham, first of all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter. Nice to be back with you.
It is indeed. And, well, Vic Rail had plenty to say after the running of the Blamey Stakes.
Yes, in fact, everyone did. Not only Vic Rail with Vo Rogue, but also the connections of Superimpose and jockey Darren Gauci, who rode Superimpose. They were all inclined to think the track was dead for the running of the Blamey Stakes, which is most unfortunate.
All right, well, the track is officially good at the moment here at Flemington, and we're going to take a look at the running of the Blamey Stakes in just a moment. And you'll notice that Vo Rogue does go to the front in his customary role. And before the turn, just have a look at jockey Cyril Small. Round about the 600-metre mark, he has one good hard look over his left shoulder. So let's pick up the replay now of the Blamey Stakes earlier this afternoon here at Flemington.
Rogue, he had a peep around. Superimposer's coming at him. He's no good thing, Vo Rogue. Superimpose moved up the Vo Rogue. Tango Master better loosen up. Superimpose went past Vo Rogue, who's beaten a length and a half to better loosen up. Superimpose drew to the front. Better loosen up, running on strongly, might get to second. Superimpose in front. Better loosen up, flashing at him. He's going to beat him. 3 wins for Clark and Hayes. Better loosen up on the line, beat Superimpose, and Vo Rogue third.
Vic, Vo Rogue was going for his 3rd consecutive Blamey Stakes win. He finished 3rd behind Better Loosen Up and Superimpose, but perhaps an even bigger shock was the state of the going.
Yeah, that's what shocked me more than anything. Like, our jockey told us as soon as we come out that they were digging into the track. The reports are that it's soft.
And, of course, we know Vo Rogue can't handle anything that's rain-affected.
Well...
no, sorry, I shouldn't have said rain-affected. I should have said wet.
Well, neither can the second horse, and by all reports of the second jockey, Darren Gauci, and by reports of C. Small on the 3rd horse, 2nd and 3rd horse, they're the 2 that couldn't handle the track. They said their horse wasn't at home on the track, that it was too soft for them.
And it is interesting that since the running of the Blamey Stakes, the track has been downgraded from fast to good.
Yeah, that's probably because of the time, you know, like Vo Rogue, that's a very, very slow time for Vo Rogue. Like, he could carry me and run the same time, you know, as long as the track's dry. Melbourne's, you know, we've had a heat wave nearly all week, up to 30 degrees all week, every day this week, and we've had no rain. They reckon the rain we had this morning wouldn't even monitor on the gauge, so how come we got a wet track?
Well, it's a question that'll be answered, I guess, over the weekend, and will cause a lot of discussion, Vic.
Yeah, well, that's right. I'm no track ranger. That's not my job. My job is to prepare my horse to satisfactory. I try and do that, but it's up to the professional men, the track men and so forth, or who's ever. It's up to them to try their hardest to produce a proper track. And as far as we know, the track's fast. What happens if the horses go out there and it is slow? It's not only us, it's all the public and everybody concerned. So it's interesting to see how the day goes on, what happens to the... You know, there's a couple other well-fancied horses in today that can't handle the soft, and they'll be heavily backed and they'll be well-fancied, and it'll be disappointing to see them, you know, finish back in the field too, you know. So that's the disappointing part of it, because we think we're landing on a fast track, and, you know,
well, I think
I can get out there, it's slow, you know, so...
Can speak for everyone in saying that we're all sorry to see Vo Rogue beaten, particularly in those circumstances. But once again, Vic, you're a very good loser. Thank you.
Good, thanks very much. Thank you.
Vic Rail talking with Graham Kelly, a very upset Vic Rail. Better Loosen Up was the winner, the Railway Stakes winner, coming home with a wet sail, $2.60 and $1.05. Second place and going to Superimpose, returning 80 cents. There was no third tote dividend for Vo Rogue. Quinella, $4.65, and the trifecta on the Blamey, $12.20. And that was one of the big races here at Flemington this afternoon. And the other one is coming up, the Cadbury Australian Guineas, $352,000 worth of prize money. We've got a magnificent field, as you can see. Candidates are now entering the mounting yard. And Graham Kelly joins me to take a look at the runners. And first of all, The top weight here, Stylish Century. Well, this horse captured the imagination of everyone over the spring when he ran second to Elmerad in the WS Cox Plate. He then came out and scored a soft win in the VRC Derby and was installed as one of the top fancies for the Melbourne Cup, but he ruined his chances when he pulled furiously in the early stages, Stylish Century. And he was a beaten horse a long way out. At his first run back, he ran third at Moonee Valley behind Lightning Bend. That was in the William Reid. He was only beaten a short half head and 3/4 of a length. It was an excellent performance. He's the favourite today, showing about $1.35 on the Victorian Tote, and to be ridden by Kevin Moses. And I think he's the one to beat. But he's going to have plenty of opposition, Grain, in number 2, Zabeel.
Yes, certainly, with Michael Clark aboard, trained by Colin Hayes. Colin's already won 3 races today. He's won 2 of the 4 Cadbury Australian Guineas run so far, and he's very confident about Zabeel. He returned to racing with a brilliant win in the Debonair here 2 weeks ago when he almost fell going past the clock tower, regained his balance and set sail after Nosy Night and got up right on the line, and Zabeel's a very exciting horse.
Number 3 in the race is Cool Credit. This horse impressed me greatly with the last start win at Moonee Valley. He only hit the front about 100 metres from home, but when he knuckled down to his task, he just raced away from them and finished up winning by 2 1/4 lengths in smart time of 1:34.6. And he's a good-looking horse, this fellow Cool Credit. On the tote at the moment, showing round about $3.70 for 50 cents, and he's certainly amongst the top chances.
Number 4, Stargazer, with Mick Dittman in the saddles. Quite long odds in the event. He's got good form, though. He has won 4 with 4 seconds from his 12 starts. Hasn't run since winning the Sandown Guineas, but as you can see, he bears a well-trained appearance, and Tommy Smith wouldn't be running him first up over 1,600 metres if he didn't think he could handle the journey. Watch out for Stargazer.
Number 5 is the Oval, and he's considered amongst the top chances. $3.85 on the Victorian Tote at the moment, and he'll have the services of Jimmy Cassidy. And this horse last start at Sandown scored a good win. It's 6-4 favourite, only won by 3/4 of a length, but he's got a bit of potential. And as you can see in the mounting yard, he's a good-looking type, the Oval, number 5.
Number 6 is Academian with Greg Hall in the saddle. His trainer, Henry Davis, decided to pay a late entry fee of $5,000 for the Cadbury Australian Guineas after Academian won at Doomben and then Eagle Farm. He looks well. Greg Hall in the saddle. He'll have every chance. He's a long shot, one for the trifectas.
Number 7, Arc Regal, is also at long odds in the race, and Wayne Harris is the rider carrying the white with the green diamond. Finished well down the track behind the Oval at Sandown last start. Prior to that, had won a 1,400 metre race there in restricted company for 3-year-old Colson Gelding. Steve Richards, the trainer, and Arc Regal, I think, would certainly have to improve a lot on the Sandown run to beat horses the calibre of Stylish Century.
Number 8 is Anchor and Hope with Neville Wilson in the saddle. He's the outsider of the race. Only won 2 of his 9 starts, beaten at Kyneton in the Kyneton Guineas, although he was very unlucky that day. Had his last start, but he's stepping up in class today, and it would be a major surprise if Anchor and Hope won.
Number 9 is Double Gin, and this horse was a pretty good run when it ran 4th behind Zabeel. Was only beaten just over 3 lengths here at its last appearance, and that was in the Debonair. Prior to that, had won twice at Morfordville in South Australia, so could be one with a bit of a chance at odds.
10 is Economy with Harry White in the saddle, second in the Kyneton Guineas to Graydon Gambler. That was a good run, and remember that his trainer Jim Surkey won the Australian Cup with Dandy Andy here 2 years ago at odds of 140 to 1.
And the bottom one, number 11, is Reganza, the only filly in the race. Darren Gauci is the rider and carries the colours that we saw so many times here at Flemington, carried by the mighty Kingston Town, yellow, red striped sleeves. And Reganza ran second at Flemington, behind Dancer's Choice at its last appearance, and ran on well on that occasion. And she should take a hand in the finish at long odds. So the tips for the race, Graham?
Well, I've gone for number 1, Stylish Century. He's a class horse, handles all distances, and he'll be very hard to beat.
And I think the top 3 will fight it out in that order. Stylish Century to beat Zabeel and Cool Credit. The Tate update as they go to the stalls now for the running of the Cadbury Australian Guineas. Stylish Century, $1.25 and 70. Zabeel, $1.70 and 70. Cool Credit now $3.70 and 95. Stargazer, $8.35 and 2.30. The Oval, well supported, $3.80 and 1.10. Academian, $9.95 and 2.25. Arc Regal, $37 and 8. Anchor and Hope, $12.40, 1.90. Double Gin, $22 and $3.95. And the other 2, Economy, $24 and 4. And Reganza, $14.80 and $3.10. Huge pools here, $290,000 for the win and $158,000 for the place. Well, candidates going to the stalls now. Dan Malicki, the excitement building here at Flemington.
Most certainly is, Peter. It's going to be a great race, and we'll be back shortly afterwards to see if Colin Hayes can notch up winner number 4 on his 66th birthday. He has Zabeel in the Guineas, runners on their way to the stalls for the big one. runners are arriving at the starting stalls for the Cadbury Australian Guineas. 11 starters in the event. Stylish Sentry and Zabeel, the two who will dispute favouritism at the moment. Stylish Sentry is favourite on the Totalisator. And Peter, I thought it was a match in two, but there are a couple of other horses well fancied in the race.
There certainly are, Dan, and we check once again the updated figures now as they mill around behind the stalls prior to the running of this big event at Flemington. Stylish Sentry still $1.25 odds of 6 to 4, and Zabeel at $1.80 is just over the 5 to 2 mark. Cool Credit well in contention at $3.55. Stargazer still at $8.45. The Oval $3.85. Academian $9.65. Long odds about Arc Regal, Anchor and Hope and Double Gin. And the other two at also pretty good odds. Economy $28 and Braganza $13.40. The pools continuing to build as they move into the stalls, and we return to Dan Malicki for his call of the Cadbury Australian Guineas.
Thanks very much, Peter. Just a couple of them to be positioned into the stalls. Arc Regal coming up. Queenslander Cool Credit. A couple of Queenslanders in this. Cool Credit and Academian. And, of course, the favourite Stylish Sentry started off his career in Queensland, since went to New South Wales, transferred from Bart Cummings to Bill Mitchell, has won $1.39 million in prize money and starts favourite in the Cadbury Australian Guineas. Marvellous race. It's been run 4 times before. True Version, Military Plume, Flotilla and King's High are the 4 previous winners. King's High last year completed the Derby Guineas double, and that's what Stylish Sentry is going for today. They're all set to go for the Guineas. The lights on. Zabeel a bit toey. Stand well, they're off and racing. Missing the start just slightly was Cool Credit. He's immediately out the back with the Oval early. Arc Regal looking for the lead in the early stages. Going up on its outside, Stylish Sentry to be second. On the inside in third placing, Double Gin. Then Anchor and Hope and Zabeel got up on the inside of Academian. Economy around them out 3 deep, and then Stargazer, the Oval. Cool Credit second last and a length and a half to the filly Braganza. She's last about 10 lengths off the lead, and there was a bit of trouble there. Stargazer got pratted back to third last. Along the back of the track, 1,100 metres to go. Arc Regal led a half length to Stylish Sentry. A length and a half to Double Gin, third, 3/4 to Economy. A length away, Anchor and Hope in fifth placing. A half length away, Zabeel, who settled well for Michael Clark. 2 lengths further back in the field, then to a Cool Credit, followed by Stargazer over on the inside as they start to bunch up a little bit before the turn. Academian was one off the fence, and the Oval's out 3 deep. Braganza's back second last. Cool Credit's back in last placing as they work up to the turn in the Cadbury Australian Guineas. 600 metres left to go. Stylish Sentry on the outside of Arc Regal. They'll come around the bend together, matching strides. A length and a half to Double Gin under pressure. Anchor and Hope got up on the inside. Economy's under pressure. Now Zabeel running on. Arc Regal kicked a length in front. Now Stylish Sentry starting to knuckle down. Zabeel runs on strongly, followed by Academia, and then Stargazer. Economy inside the 300. Zabeel went straight past Stylish Sentry and Arc Regal. Zabeel kicked away. Academian running on strongly. Stylish Sentry can't go on, but Zabeel can, and shot away. He's 3 in front and got the Guineas one for Colin Hayes and Michael Clark. And Zabeel draws clear to win by 2 3/4 lengths to Arc Regal. Academian third, fourth Stylish Sentry. Then Stargazer, Cool Credit. Further back in the field, then a Double Gin. Economy next time, and then the Oval, followed by Braganza, and last of all was Anchor and Hope. And he's going to be a superstar. Colin Hayes has talked about the horse in such high regard. He's been compared to Dulcify, even King's High, the winner last year of this great race. And Zabeel has got up the win. Today is Colin Hayes' 66th birthday. It's in his last season of training. It's his 4th winner for the day, and also the 4th winner for jockey Michael Clark. $1.80 and 75 for Zabeel. Second placing, $7.45 for Arc Regal. Great run. And $2.05 for number 6, which was Academian. 2, 7 and 6 of the placings. Stylish Sentry missed a place, but really he was never travelling that well. We've often seen him lead. He couldn't do that today, and he was gone at the 250 when Zabeel went past him. You pick them up from the 200-metre point, and it was at this stage where Stylish Sentry was beaten by Zabeel, no question about it. Zabeel just pinged past him, and this colt, who was so green in his early days, knows how to be a real racehorse now. And he knuckled down in the last 50 metres and drew away. Michael Clark could stop riding him almost near the post. Such was his advantage over the rest of the horses. And this horse, he is going to be very, very good, Zabeel. That was his 5th win from 10 starts. He's had 2 runs this preparation, for a 100% record. As I said, marvellous day for Colin Hayes, and Graham Kelly's in the mounting out where all the action is. Graham is talking to the master trainer.
Well, Colin, what a day. You've won 4 races. You've won 3 out of the 5 Australian Guineas run so far. What about Zabeel?
Well, he looks like being what we hoped he was, Graham. He's a horse with tremendous potential. Lovely, lengthy horse. It looks like time will be his best friend. I would think as a 4-year-old he'd be a really top horse.
Always looked the winner in running. Stylish Century's under a little bit of pressure, and Zabeel was just coasting back in about 5th and 6th place all the way.
Yes. There was another well-judged rider, Michaels, and he was... well, I think they ran about the same time as the weight for age too.
Yeah. Unleashed a magnificent finishing burst too when he let go.
Yes, beautiful action horse. He's poetry emotion. He's got style and rhythm.
And what's in mind for him now? What's his future program?
Well, I think the Moonee Valley race.
Alistair Clark Stakes. Will he be going to Sydney for the Derby?
Yes, he'll go then on to Sydney.
And the BMW International?
Yeah, yes, that's probably his plan. We'll just see how he does. He's not over robust at this stage, and we'll just perhaps cuddle him up a little bit at this stage.
Good. Well, thanks very much, Colin, and congratulations on another marvellous day.
Thanks, Graham. That's great.
Graham Kelly and Colin Hayes. He's really having a marvellous season. He's a mile in front of any amount of winners he's ever trained before in his final season, Colin Hayes, and he is going to go out in a big way. Zabeel first, ridden by Michael Clark as the runners come back to scale. He is going to pay $1.80 and 70 cents on the tape, which is surprising. I thought he would have been a little bit shorter than that. $1.80 and 70. Perhaps people just don't think Hayes and Clark can combine for many more winners. Second horse has paid $7.40, Arc Regal. And third placing to number 6, Academian, $2.05. The Quinella, $98.15. The trifecta, $2,065.30. In the running double, $5.80. 276, Zabeel, Arc Regal, Academian. On face value, Stylish Century, a little disappointing, but still he wound up in 4th placing, and he certainly did have his chance. Whether or not he was affected by the wet track or not, it shouldn't be excused because the horse has won in wet conditions, even though it was in Queensland. So it's 2, 7 and 6. Zabeel, a mighty winner of the Cadbury Australian Guineas, and we'll come back to Flemington very, very shortly.
On Cadbury Australian Guineas Day, and if you back Zabeel on the Victorian tote, you can expect about $1.80. And of course, so many people will be having a bet today. Hope it's been successful for you so far. One man vitally concerned with all the betting going on today is the TAB General Manager Neil Walker. Earlier, he spoke to Dan Malicki.
Well, with me I have Neil Walker, the General Manager from the TAB. Neil, the TAB get a lot of backing, I suppose, through televised races. And, of course, a meeting like today, the Australian Guineas, the turnover, especially through the telephones, must be very, very high.
Yes, Dan. We'd like to congratulate both the BRC and Channel 10 for taking this initiative of televising today. It is very important for our telephone betting customers who get to see their money go round, which of course they haven't been able to do since the Spring Carnival. So we're very pleased about the initiative, and we hope it's the start of bigger and better television.
Well, I noticed that the complex at Box Hill is unbelievable, and you must have spent a lot of money there. It's a new telephone betting complex.
Yes, Dan, it's a real state-of-the-art complex, both in its computer systems and communications technology. It's increased our telephone betting capacity by 33%, and already we're seeing that our telephone betting clients are appreciating that because we are experiencing some higher turnover, which is obviously good from our point of view.
Any new innovations coming up?
Oh yes, we keep the new innovations running. We're currently installing our new 2290 betting system throughout our agencies. That will go on for the first half of this year, leading up to July or August when all 430 will be converted. That's a great boon to the punters. The Mark Sense cards are processed a lot quicker. There's less Mark Sense cards. The customers get a readout display, and there's a barcode on the ticket for the payout of the winning dividends. So all of that is very good from the punter's point of view. And from there we'll go on to expanded pub tab, and of course we're also looking forward to Tabaret.
Excellent. Neil, thanks a lot for joining us. Have a marvellous day, and as you said, let's hope it's the start of so many good things to come. Good partnership.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Neil Walker, the General Manager of the TAB, talking with Dan Malicki. Now it's time for the presentation after the Cadbury Australian Guineas for 1990, and it's my pleasure to introduce the Chairman of the Victoria Racing Club, Mr Peter Armitage.
Ladies and gentlemen, before introducing Mr Kevin Hayes, the Managing Director of Cadbury's Confectionery, might I say how delighted the VRC is to be associated with Cadbury and the 5th running of this race. I think Mr Kevin Hayes will tell you that Mr Colin Hayes has won 3 out of the 5, but we are absolutely delighted with their sponsorship, and I would like to congratulate the Sheik, Mr Colin Hayes and Michael Clark on a magnificent win. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr Kevin Hayes.
Thank you, Peter. Chairman, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the 5th running of the Cadbury Australian Guineas, I think, has served to confirm the success of this wonderful race since its inception. It's always attracted the cream of Australian 3-year-olds, and this particular win, I think, is underscored by the depth of talent that the winner Zabeel managed to defeat this year. He joins a select group of colts who have taken out first prize, and I think that illustrates the way that this particular race has gone from strength to strength over the years. That is, I suppose, also the direct reflection of the way that this race fits into the Australian calendar, but it also owes much, I believe, to the racing industry and those who recognised its potential and were so quick to support it. That comment applies, of course, to the connection to this year's winner of the Cadbury Australian Guineas. And I join Peter Armitage in congratulating the owner, Sheik Hamdan, the trainer, of course, Colin Hayes, who, as Peter's already mentioned, has a strike rate of 60% and who turned the horse out so magnificently. And by no means least, Michael Hayes, who handled the colt so beautifully. With those congratulations, of course, goes the trophy for the Cadbury Australian Guineas, which will now be accepted by Colin Hayes.
And congratulations to the Sheik, to Colin Hayes and to Michael Clark on a marvellous win by Zabeel in the Cadbury Australian Guineas. Well, it's been a pretty warm day here at Flemington, still quite muggy. As the day goes on, of course, the Lightning Stakes out here a little bit later in the day. Dan Malicki, I think we've seen a very, very exciting colt in Zabeel.
Pete, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more of him. Channel 10 will telecast the Australian Cup. If Colin decides to change his mind, it's weight for age. We might even see Zabeel then. It'll be a great horse.
Graham, it's been a great day's racing, and, well, the autumn just around the corner now, and we're looking forward to some more.
Yes, thrilling win by Zabeel, and a lot more good racing coming up, as you said, Peter. The Newmarket and the Australian Cup here will be very good races.
Graham Kelly and Dan Malicki, thanks very much, and thank you for joining us here at Flemington this afternoon. Hope you've backed a winner, and we hope you've enjoyed the Cadbury Australian Guineas. Hopefully we'll see you over the autumn for the Newmarket Handicap and the Australian Cup. Goodbye from Flemington.
This program was proudly brought to you by TAB Telephone Betting.
And Michael Clark. They won 4 of the 8 races, including the Blamey, causing an upset, beating Superimpose and Voe Rogue, and they also won the Australian Guineas with Zabeel. Show County was beaten in the Lightning, but he appeared sore on pulling up, and I guess a little bit of early rain on the track might have affected the chances of Show County and the other horse that was badly beaten there. First on the program, North Star Command got the money at 7-4 over Knossos and China Beach. Second went to Drawcard. The even money favourite showed plenty of fight to win from Claire's Girl and Daughter's Charm. Now the Blamey Stakes with Voe Rogue the leader.
Superimpose draws level with Voe Rogue. He takes the lead now, Superimpose from Voe Rogue. Better Loosen Up is flashing home, might run second, or he might even win. Superimpose in front, Better Loosen Up flies at him. They hit it and Better Loosen Up. Better Loosen Up has got up to beat Superimpose. Voe Rogue weakened into third.
So Better Loosen Up has now won 4 in a row, all in group races. The 4th was taken out by Full at Last, ridden by Mick Dittman. He won with plenty in hand. The 5th was the Cadbury Australian Guineas.
Academian Cool Credit still well back, so is the Oval and Reganza, but Arc Regal at the 400 led by 2 lengths. Stylish Century under pressure trying to pick it back. Clark calls on Zabeel, he's closing rapidly down the outside. Then came Academian, but Zabeel hit the front from Ark Regal inside the 200. Running on is Academian, but Zabeel has broken clear at the 100-metre mark. He's 2 lengths in front. He's got the Guineas, won Zabeel. And Zabeel will go on and win by 2.5 lengths. Ark Regal held on to second, Academian ahead away third, Stylish Century.
It was very impressive, Zabeel at 5-2. Next step, the Alistair Clark, and then it's on to Sydney. The sixth was taken out by Submariner, who sprinted brilliantly first up for Jimmy Cassidy, winning at 13-2. And now the Lightning was Show County the favourite, and he was beaten too.
Outside, Show County clear with 100 metres to go. Redelva is picking him up strongly. Show County by a neck. Redelva nearly level. Puts his nose in front. Redelva beats Show County. Won it by about a head and 2 lengths away third. Either Strawberry Ranch or Street Ruffian at a photo.
It was Redelva at 14-1 over Show County, backed into odds on, and Strawberry Ranch third at 6s. And the last went to Prince Carrick.
It looks great inside the 200. Then came Power of Destiny and Aboise. It's Prince Carrick who's kicked away though. Inside the 100, he's bolted away from the field. And Prince Carrick will go on and win it by about 2 lengths to Power of Destiny. Zamzulu held third just in front of Looks Great. Then Dara.
So it was Prince Carrick at 12-1 over Power of Destiny and Zamzulu. Kingston ruled an easing favourite at 2s was disappointing. Daily double today, 2 and 3 paid $33.80. There's the extra 4 and 1, $305. Quadrilla paid $1,327.55 and the quad extra $3,415.30. Australia's oldest and most prestigious sporting awards will be
Welcome back. It was a controversial racing day at Flemington, with 2 of Australia's superstars being surprisingly beaten, and both their trainers thought the condition of the Flemington track contributed to their defeats. Vo Rogue and Show County both went under, but their disappointment was matched by Colin Hayes' success. Hayes, who turned 66 on Friday, won 4 races, including the prestigious Australian Guineas and the time-honoured Blamey Stakes. The Blamey Stakes had all the trimmings of a classic weight-for-age race. A small field, but containing 3 exceptional horses. The king of this racing, Vo Rogue, Mr Consistency, Superimpose, and the rising star, Better Loosen Up. As expected, Vo Rogue established a clear lead, but this champion who struggles on a soft track was no good thing as the field was taking the top of the course on entering the home straight.
So they straighten 400 to go. Vo Rogue, Small gave him a crack with the whip. He's 2 lengths in front of Tango Master, Superimposed to the outside. He's travelling well, Superimposed, and he's raced up to Vo Rogue now. And Superimposed range to Vo Rogue, who fights back. But Superimposed on the outside took the lead now from Vo Rogue. They're clear of Better Loosen Up, but Superimposed is coming away. Vo Rogue can't fight back. Better Loosen Up coming home well. Superimposed in front. Better Loosen Up flashing at him. Better Loosen Up and got up. Better Loosen Up in a boil over has got up to beat Superimpose ahead. A length and a half away. Third is Vo Rogue.
After the race, the Vo Rogue camp were disappointed, believing the track was far from fast.
The track is officially rated fast. Don't you think that's accurate?
Well, it could be under them. I'm not a track ranger or something. I can only go by the time they run. They run 3.5 seconds outside of his record, didn't he? And I don't think he went, well, he was going pretty easy early, and Cyril said he asked him to go at the half mile and he couldn't go. He said he just wasn't happy in the going.
But Colin Hayes, the trainer of Better Loosen Up, was delighted with his horse's win.
Have we seen the new star of the Hayes stable today?
Could well be, could well be. King's High is carrying more condition than him, and you know, has at this stage won more, but this looks like to be the rising star, really.
There were calls, in fact, howls of protest from both the 2nd and 3rd place getters stalls to say this track is not fast, that it was too wet and it affected the chances of Vo Rogue and Superimpose.
Well, I can't speak for them, but I was delighted with the state of the track.
Do you think it helped Better Loosen Up the sting definitely out of the track, which is officially rated fast?
Well, I think that if they can run around 37 here with, you know, I think it all comes back to the pace that Vo Rogue goes, the way he was rated. If it maybe let him run faster in the middle stage, it might have been a different result.
The track was downgraded to good from fast by the time the Australian Guineas was run, and the $350,000 race brought together 2 exciting colts. The established star Stylish Century, who won the Derby, and the handsome Zabeel.
Arc Regal in front of the 400-metre mark, about to be grabbed by Stylish Century, and here comes Zabeel on the outside. He's winding up with a magnificent run. Oh, he's raced to them now. Zabeel went up to Arc Regal. He left Stylish Century behind, and then Academian getting out and coming home well. But the leader, Zabeel, with 150 to go. He bursts clear, and he's a brilliant colt. Zabeel's coming away now from Academian and Arc Regal, and it's Zabeel, a brilliant winner. Zabeel wins the